Hello and welcome to the Top Contractor School Podcast, where we are dedicated to helping you achieve extraordinary growth and success by supplying you with the tools, resources, and support necessary to not only build profitable businesses, but to create a lasting impact on your families, companies, and communities. I'm Eric Guy, president of Top Contractor School. Joining me today is one of our members, Miss Allie Williams. Welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so she's got a pretty interesting story, guys. If you don't know her, she's from Elite Paving, but recently she just added something to her resume. She is the founder of Vintage Blacktop Company, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But you're involved with Elite. How did you even get into paving, Allie?
All right. Okay. Yeah, it was very unexpected. So, towards the end of 2023, I was considering a career change. I had no idea which direction to go, but I knew I wanted a change. I had been working for a nanny, or I've been working as a nanny for around 5 years. And though I loved it, I just wasn't feeling as passionate about it. So I was actually considering a career in private aviation. I had a friend who's a pilot, and he was, telling me the ins and the outs of the industry. And it wasn't a hard sell. You could travel around the world on a chartered jet and make a living. So while I was tempted to pursue that, my son was only 13 at the time, and it would have been like an unpredictable kind of schedule. So I chose to pass on that. And around that same time, I unexpectedly made a connection in the asphalt paving world. I met Tim, the owner of Elite, through a mutual connection, and we started dating. And as we got to know each other, we realized that we might make a great team professionally. He was looking for someone to help him scale his business. And, I was craving something new and purposeful. So I started working for him remotely. I was still doing my nanny job at the same time. So in between nap schedules, I was prospecting and creating content for Elite. After juggling both for several months, the opportunity arose to work for Elite full time and relocate to Illinois. So it was a big leap for sure, but I said yes, and I'm grateful I did.
But you've also just started this Vintage Blacktop company. Like, tell us about that too, because that's kind of a neat thing that just started.
Yeah, so that kind of came about when I just realized, like, I never saw myself in the trades. It wasn't even on my radar. And when I got to Illinois and I kind of got immersed in the work, met the crews, and I was, going out on the job sites, that's when it clicked that, this work has purpose. It's real. And, I wanted to be a part of it. So I wondered though, like, why didn't I consider that a viable option for myself? And like, why don't more people consider it, especially women and youth? So that's where it came from. I saw a gap in representation and really even just celebration of the industry. So I wanted to change that. I wanted to create something that could shine a bold light on skilled trades and reawaken that like heartfelt pride that the generations before us had. It was meaningful to build something with your hands. So that's kind of where it came about.
What do you like the most about the paving business?
I think I kind of like the pace of it. I really enjoy the fast pace. Every day is not necessarily the same. You don't know what's really gonna get thrown at you with weather and rescheduling and, you're always talking to different people. And, so I really like the pace. I was coming from a career that was incredibly predictable. That was literally my job, was to create routines, right? So
Yeah.
it feels exciting.
Um, what does leadership look like on your teams? Like as you build, I know you guys are in the middle of scaling too. What's leadership look like on your teams?
Yeah. So with Elite, I think leadership starts with how you carry yourself, how you are showing up, your presence, your tone, your follow through. It's about earning trust by being consistent. Um, I try and lead by example. I communicate. I take responsibility for my energy and my words and my work. And by doing that, I think it sets a standard and it's what I expect in return.
What's your approach to developing people?
Um, I would say that I lead with empathy. Um, I definitely want to take the time to understand like who a person is and how they work. Um, I want people to feel safe enough to, ask me questions, to make mistakes, without fear of judgment. Um, I've had crew members that come to me that, are feeling discouraged or frustrated. And, sometimes they're looking for advice. Sometimes they're just wanting to vent, but I try and um, hold space for whatever it is that they're needing. I believe that that's an important part of growth and development is having a safe space where you can go and feel open and vulnerable, whether personally or professionally. Um, Especially in an industry like this, where there's kind of a stigma tied to men who show their emotions and, their
Uh-huh.
burnout.
Let's talk culture a little bit. How do you establish culture when everything, especially now, like busy season, fast moving, seasonal, chaotic industry like paving? What do you go about doing to establish culture?
Yeah. So being in Texas and working remotely, I do believe that it puts me at a slight disadvantage when it comes to developing and maintaining culture. So I have to be like really intentional about how I influence things from a distance. So for me, it starts with how I show up in the relationships that with the people that I do talk to on a regular basis, which is mainly the office staff. I always try and bring steadiness and clarity and support to the mix. This industry does move super fast, so communication can break down really easily, and people can feel overwhelmed pretty quickly. So I focus on trying to stay organized and be be somebody that somebody can go to feel heard. I think that it can be those little things that build culture. Trust and consistency and professionalism.
Yeah, you mentioned that you and you and Tim thought you might work well together, and you are very complimentary. But how has that played out, and what do you guys do to make sure you're working in a complimentary nature?
Yeah, so I don't know. I described Tim as like he's the gas and I'm the steering wheel and the clutch and the emergency brake.
Yeah.
Um, he's very much the vision, want to get there, don't really care how we get there, just want to get there. And I'm kind of the person that is filling in all the little gaps of, all right, well, we're going to do this, this, and this to arrive where you want to arrive. So we just complement each other in that way. Like what he lacks, I make up for and vice versa.
with the with the vintage brand, Vintage Blacktop,
Hmm.
what are you hoping to build there, and what kind of legacy are you hoping to build?
Yeah. So the legacy I hope to build with Vintage is about visibility, um, pride, and purpose. I want to shift the perspective around the industry, and I want people to look at someone like in a high vis vest or on a piece of equipment and see skill, dignity, intelligence, um, not just the blue collar stereotype, you know? So
Yeah.
vintage blacktop is my way of opening doors for people who maybe have never seen themselves represented here. Um, so the clothes are just one part of it. The mission, though, is really shifting perspectives, providing resources, and reminding people that this work is to be celebrated, not overlooked.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Where can people find that? Yeah, I know you just are launching, but
Yeah,
I know you're on Instagram.
so yeah, I'm in the Instagram, the Facebook, and the TikTok right now. The website and shop is supposed to launch on Sunday, so we're busy
This
this
stuff.
that's
Okay.
Sunday. Yes.
So by the time this comes out, you ought to look at that. What do we need to search to find you?
So you can find the website and the shop on the socials. It's Vintage Blacktop Co. That's the tag for all socials, and that's actually the website as well.
What advice do you have for young entrepreneurs, especially those who don't see many people like them in leadership roles?
Yeah, I'd say to do the things that you keep talking yourself out of. Um, there is a lot of power in showing up when you're afraid, and um, your fear does not mean that you're not ready. It typically means that you're on the edge of something really important. So definitely show up for that. And if the space you're in does not reflect you, it's not necessarily an invitation to blend in. So take that as a cue to speak up and take up space.
All right. This next question that we've had this maybe some discussions back and forth individually. What's motivating you right now, and then what's keeping your fire lit?
All right. So right now, the motivation is the mission. I put a lot of myself into building something that's bigger than me, greater than me. Vintage Blacktop, my role at Elite, my voice in this industry. Um, what keeps the fire lit is knowing that showing up could help somebody else believe that they can too. So that's definitely a good motivator. And on a even more personal note, my kids are big time motivators for me. I want them to see what it looks like to take risks and bet on yourself and build something with purpose, even when it's hard.
Yeah, and you're venturing into giving some talks and speaking a little bit too, right? Coming up.
And that as well, exactly. And so, they're seeing me, practice. I am not like a public speaking type of
Well,
person.
you're getting outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, so I'm putting myself in situations that make me uncomfortable, and I'm thriving in it because I know on the other side of it is massive growth. So
Let's twist this a little bit and go into TCS. You haven't been a you and Tim haven't been a member for a long period of time, but you've definitely made an impact, both of you. And then I actually talked to another one of your folks today that reached out. and very, because you all are very interactive in the app with the TCS community. How did you first get introduced to TCS?
First of all, thank you. And so we first found out about TCS through downloading the One Team Media app for the PaveX conference in Chattanooga. And after getting on there, Jim Williams reached out, introduced himself, super nice. And so I agreed that Tim and I would meet him at the Pavement Group booth at the conference. So we went and we talked to both Jim and Brian, and very quickly, Tim and I looked at each other and we were just like, wow, like these people are so just real, and they're full of industry knowledge, and it just felt super, super comfortable. So it was an easy sell for us. We signed up on the spot to join the community, and it's been wonderful.
Well, that's wonderful. What has TCS helped you shift, whether it's like your mindset, systems, leadership?
So I'd say that it's helped me shift my mindset the most. I think that coming into this industry as an outsider, and also just, being a woman in a male dominated space, I had struggled a little bit with feeling like I fully belong. But being a part of this community really helps me realize that, my perspective brings something to the table. And it just reminds you that you're not alone. Being surrounded by other contractors, other people who are honest about what works and what doesn't, and what they've learned, it really gives you confidence to trust yourself as a leader.
And why do you think mentorship and being in such a strong community matters so much to contractors?
Because this industry can be tough, and having a strong community can really give you perspective. It reminds you that you're not the only one out here trying to accomplish these goals. The community also gives you momentum. You see what's possible when people are willing to share what they've built. It really gives you that push forward. And then as far as mentorship goes, for me, it's just about having someone who's willing to speak into your blind spots. Have somebody unafraid to tell you, like, well, maybe you should try this another way, or you might be overthinking this. I just think that kind of one-on-one support is really priceless.
All right, you ready for the rapid fire round?
Oh, Lord. Let's go.
All right. Favorite piece of equipment?
Coffee pot. That's the first thing I fire up in the morning. No, but if we're talking job site, the paver.
Okay, I love the first answer. I love that. First hustle or job you ever had growing up?
I had a paper route when I was about 7 or 8. So that was my first workplace competition, me and my sister.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Morning ritual or habit you swear by?
You have to move your body, non-negotiable. Gets the gears going and just sets the tone for the whole day.
One thing that keeps you grounded?
Journaling, always. That's how I process everything.
Good stuff. Most impactful book, podcast, or quote you've ever heard?
I'm really big into self-development. So I really love Ed Milet's podcast.
Okay, good. Finish this sentence. To build something that lasts, you've got to...
to build something that lasts, you have to stay connected to your why.
Ooh, I like that answer. Very good. So tell us, what's next for you in Elite?
Oh my gosh, the sky's the limit. We have had an amazing season. I'm really excited to see what's in store. I can just feel our whole team, everything, just everybody is growing at an immense rate. And I think it's a lot to do with TCS, but I'm really excited to see where we're gonna go.
Yeah, me too. What's up next other than the website for Vintage Blacktop?
Well, that's the dragon I'm trying to slay at the moment. So I'm trying to keep my focus on one thing at a time so I don't go crazy.
Yeah.
So, but big stuff. I know there's going to be big stuff with this. I'm trying to get involved with um, all the different vocational schools around my area. I'm talking with a lot of people. I'm talking with Chamber of Commerce in Austin. So I really hope to get very much involved in the community and with the youth.
Good stuff. Any final words of encouragement for entrepreneurs, anybody in the construction space?
Well, specifically entrepreneurs, I would say you don't have to have it all figured out to build something that matters. So it's the path usually will unfold after you take the first step. So you just got to go for it.
All right. Well, thanks, Allie. Appreciate you being on here. Hopefully
Yeah.
we'll see you back soon.
All right.
All right. That's a wrap for today's episode, guys, on the TCS podcast. Until next time, keep leading, keep growing, and keep winning. We'll see you soon.